Hello, today is the 28th video of my database management systems practical video series, and today I'm going to discuss the 28th question of the question list. So let's go to our database management system question list here. Under day 14, here's the question 28. Before starting the question, I have to remind you we are continuing a question started from question 17. So if you didn't watch those previous videos, I think it's better you watch them first, because we are answering to a database. Sorry, we are using a database created in question 18, and we use the table and the database to answer to these questions. Okay, let's go to the question. Here's the first part. What is the highest mark obtained in Sinhala literature in all term examinations of all the students of class 11B? You can see we have to find the highest mark. If you watch the previous videos, let's go to our database here. This is the database we are using, and these are the tables we created in this database, and let me show you the data we entered to these tables. And if you watch the previous videos, we use the student exam mark record table to store the data. So we have to filter those data in these conditions. Here in the first one, Sinhala literature, that's the subject, so we have to filter the data using the subject and also the class 11B. Let's go to our ADSQL browser again, and here in the database, here you can see the class. Okay. And in the student exam mark record table, there's no connection to that class directly, but if you go to the student table has the connection to the class table, and the class ID foreign from the class table to the student table, and then the student index number foreign to the student exam mark record table. If we filter the data using if we want to filter the data using the class name, we have to combine these three tables together and also the subject table. So in this case, I am using the inner join method. First, I like to show you the data recorded in the student exam mark record table. So let's write a select query here. Select asterisk means I need all the values related to all the attributes in student exam mark record table. So select asterisk from, here's the database exam mark DB, and here's the table student exam mark record table, and let's execute this one here. These are all the marks, and the records related to those marks are showing in the result. Now let's join other tables to this one. Here inner join, that's the keyword, and here is the next table exam mark DB, and I'm joining the student table to this one. Okay, if we join two tables using inner join or some kind of a join, we have to mention the connection between these two tables. So you can see in the student table, the class ID is the attribute which foreign from the class ID in the student table, so we have to mention that one. We have to use the keyword on before mentioning that connection, and here's the connection on. The class ID in student table, that's not the connection. You can see we are joining the student exam mark record table and the student table. You can see in the student exam mark record table, the student index number is the attribute which foreign from the student table. So if we want to join these two tables, we have to mention that connection. So in the student exam mark record table, student index number should equal to student index number in student table. Okay, let's execute this one. You can see all the data are showing in the result in a corresponding order. Now let's join other tables. Now I can join the class table to this one. So inner join, here's the next table, first database, and then the table class, and here's the connection on the class ID in student table. Not this one, class ID should equal to the class ID in class table. Okay, let's execute this one too. Okay, class table joined to the result 2, and here is the last one, inner join. I'm joining, here's the database, I'm joining the subject table because we have to filter this data using the subject name. So here's the connection on subject ID in subject table should equal to the subject ID recorded in the student exam mark record table. That's the connection, and let's execute this one. You can see all 4 tables joined together. Now we can write our conditions to filter these data here. When we write conditions, before we write any condition, we have to use the where keyword here, where, and here is the first condition. In the question you can see we have to filter this data using the subject Sinhala literature. So subject name should equal to the subject name in the subject table should equal to Sinhala language and literature. Let me copy that one. This is the complete name, Sinhala language and literature. And here's the next one. Sorry, not subject, the class table. We can directly call the class table because we joined that table too. So class name should equal to class 11B. Let's verify that one. Yes, we have to find the class 11B students, and you can see both of these conditions should meet to view that record in the result. Okay, let's execute this one. Here you can see this is the last set of records. Here class 11B students, and subject name is Sinhala language and literature. Okay, now you can see in the question we have to find the highest mark. We use the keyword min, and also the average, AVG, like those keywords. In this case we can use the max keyword. Here if we use the max keyword, it will find the highest mark recorded in the attribute, depending on the attribute we are giving it. So here I'm giving it the attribute, the mark attribute in student table, student exam mark record table. You can see it will search all the records recorded in this attribute mark, and it will find the highest mark recorded in those values. Let's execute this one. You can see the highest mark is 85.56, and in the question you can see the attribute name is not very relevant or suitable. We can change it using the keyword as, and here is the new attribute name, highest mark. Okay, you can see the attribute name changed, and we completed the first part of the question. And let's move on to the second one. Here's the second one. What is the highest mark and subject of Sachitra Wickramasinghe's first term subjects in all subjects? Okay, Here you can see we have to write another select query. In this case, we have to find the highest mark and show the mark and also the subject name in our result. And these are the uh, conditions we have to use when we are filtering the data. Here there's a student's name Satitra Vikramasinghe and also the first term. So there are two conditions, but if you go to the student table, you can see we store the data. We store the student's name in two separate attributes, first name and last name. So if you use the name to filter the data, there will be three records with the exam term condition. Let's clear this one. Before that, let me show you the whole query. This is the whole query we used in the previous part, and let's clear this one and write a new one. You can see again we have to connect all these tables to. So let's write our select query. First, let me show you the details recorded in the student exam mark record table, because that's the main table. So select asterisk from here's the database exam mark DB and student exam mark record. Okay, let's execute this one. Okay, these are the data, and after that let's join using the inner join method. Inner join in the exam mark DB, we can join the subject table. You can see we don't need to connect the class table, but we have to connect other tables. So first one is the subject table, and here's the condition: the subject ID in the subject table should equal to the subject ID recorded in the student exam mark record table. Let's execute this one. Here these are the data. You can see all the data related to all three subjects are showing here. And again, inner join, I'm joining the exam term table, because we have to filter the data using the exam term. So inner join in exam mark DB exam term, and here's the condition on exam ID in exam term table. Sorry, the term ID. Term ID in exam term table should equal to the term ID recorded in student exam mark record table. Okay. Here you can see the term table join to the list 2, and here's the last one. We can join the not this inner join. Inner join, we can join the student table. So in exam mark DB, here's the student table, because we have to filter the data using a student's name. Here is the condition: the index number recorded in the student table should equal to the index number in student exam mark record table. Let's execute this one. Here we connect all the tables together. Now we can write our conditions. So where keyword, where, now we can write our first condition. Here I am filtering the data using the first name and the last name in a student table. So student table dot first name should equal to Sachitra. Let's copy the name Sachitra, and here's the second condition. I told you there will be three conditions because we separate first name and the last name to two separate attributes. So again, student table last name should equal to Vikramasinghe. Let's copy that one too. Here And here's the last one. We have to filter the data. Let me show you the question by the term. We have to find only the records related to the first term. So in exam mark DB, sorry, exam term table, exam name should equal to first term. Okay, let's execute this one. You can see these are the last records, and we can find the maximum value from this one. So I'm using the max attribute, max, and here's the attribute. I want to find the max value, student exam mark record mark attribute. Okay, now we can find the subject ID too using this one, the subject table, not student, subject dot name. Okay, here is the query, but there's an error in the query. Here you can see the max value is 85.5 and subject name is mathematics. Let me cut these attribute names. Let's replace the asterisk marks and see the records. Here you can see the marks in mathematics subject is 78.24. Actually the max value 85.5 is the mark of Sinhala language and literature. So if you use that method we used earlier, it's wrong. You can see there's only one method we have to follow. We have to output only the mark and then write another select query to connect subject and also the mark and find the and input the max value as a input and then find the answer. So let's left this query behind and connect our two tables using again. Here I again open a new query tab and let's write a select query, select asterisk from exam mark DB and student exam mark record and inner join exam mark DB. We have to show the subject table. So these two tables are enough. So here's the condition on the subject ID in subject table should equal to the subject ID in student exam mark record table. Let's execute this one and you can see both tables connected together. Now we can write this condition. Let's write that one to filter the marks out from these set of records. So where student exam mark record mark in, and let's copy this one and connect that one to the previous table. This will output the max value. So let's find the max value. So max in the student exam mark record table marks. Okay, here you can see it will output the max value, and let's connect that one to this one. So here this second query we wrote earlier will go as a subquery. You know how to write a subquery. We have to put that new query in two brackets, and here is that query, and this query will output the max value by filtering the data in these conditions, name and the exam term, and that value will be inputted to this condition and it will find the mark. And now let's execute this one. Here you can see it find the record Sinhala language, and here's the highest mark, 85.5. okay. Now we don't need all the attributes, we need only the mark and the subject name. So let's show this one. The student exam mark record table, mark attribute, and let's change the name as highest mark. Highest mark, and not and, we have to separate these two attributes using the comma. This subject name in subject table. Okay, let's execute this one. Here you can see this is the highest mark and the subject name, and this is the query we use to get this answer. But there's another error. If we use this method, it will show this value, but if there are more than one record which have the highest mark as 85.5, there will be more than one record. So if you want to write the correct query, you have to connect the four tables together in this query, which is this main query, this one. And again you have to mention the conditions, and after that you have to find the max query using the same conditions. So there will be more code lines, but in this one I'm not going to write that query. Let's stop from this query, and this is the query we use to get this answer, but this is the correct answer, and we complete the second part. Let's move on to the third one. Find the name and mark of all the students who scored between 70 and 90 marks in the mathematics subject in first term examination. Okay, that's the third part of the question, and you can see here's a score range 70 to 90. We have to filter the data using this range, and also the subject and the term. You can see the easiest way to complete this answer by using a inner join method. If you use a subquery method, you have to select you have to write select queries to all the separate tables, but if you join all the tables together, that will be very easy. Okay, let's clear this one and connect our tables. In this case, again we have to connect student table, because we have to show the name and the mark record, student exam mark record table, that's the main table, and subject, because we have to filter the data. You can see mathematics subject and also the term. Okay. Here select asterisk from. Let's go step by step. So first I'm joining our main table, which is the table which records the mark, student exam mark record table. So select asterisk from student exam mark DB and student exam mark record. Okay, these are the records, and let's join other tables to this one. Okay, here I'm joining the student table first this time. So exam mark DB student table, and here's the condition on the index number in student table should equal to the index number in student exam mark record table. Here we combine two tables together, and here's the third one, inner join exam mark DB. Now we can join the subject table. Okay, subject table, and here's the condition: the subject ID in subject table should equal to the subject ID in student exam mark record table. Let's execute this one. Here we connect the subject table to, and here's the last one in a join exam mark DB. We are joining the exam term table. Here's the condition: on the term ID in exam term table should equal to the term ID recorded in student exam mark record table. Here we combine all four tables together. Now we can write our condition. So where keyword, and here's the first condition: I am filtering the data using the subject. So the subject name in subject table should equal to this one, mathematics. Okay, mathematics, and let's execute this one. Here are let's find the subject name. Here only the records related to the mathematics subject are showing here, but in these records you can see first term records and also second term records, but we have to write another condition to filter the first term detail. So in exam term table, the term name should equal to first term. Okay, we filter the data using the subject name and the term name, and in the question we there's another condition. We have to find this mark range 70 to 90. Okay, let's see how we can do that part. And this is the last condition. Here's the table, student exam mark record table, and mark attribute in, sorry, not in, between. There's a keyword called between. We use this keyword when we are defining a range. So 60 and 90, mark between 60 and 90, 70, 90. Okay, now let's execute this one. You can see this is the last set of records. Marks are between 70 to 90, and now we don't need all these attributes in the question. You can see we just need to show the name of the student and the mark. So let's go back and change this asterisk marks to student dot first name, and again student dot last name, comma, and student exam mark record mark. Let's execute this one. Here this is the last output of this query, and here's the query we used to get this answer. We completed the third part of the question. Now let's move on to the fourth one. Find the subject and mark with the highest marks obtained in mathematics and science subject in Amanda Moses first term examination. In this question we have to find what is the highest mark from these two subjects, mathematics or science, in Amanda Moses first term exam result. So let's go to our HDSQL browser. Again you can see it's easy to complete this question by using the inner join method. So I am joining these tables. We don't need to join the class table, exam term, student, exam mark record, and the subject. In the question you can see again the subjects are stored in subject table, and the name of the student stored in student table, and the term is stored in the exam term table, and the marks are stored in the student exam mark record table. So here's the first one, asterisk from exam mark DB, and in that database here is the main table. There's no order when you are joining tables, but I like to I like to write this query this way. So here is the student exam mark record, and inner join, I'm joining the student table to this one. So exam mark DB student where, not where, here's the connection between these two tables. So the index number in student table should equal to the index number in student exam mark record table. Let's execute this one here. These two tables join together, and here is the third table I'm joining the subject table to this one. So exam mark DB subject table on subject ID should equal to the subject ID recorded in student exam mark record table. Let's execute this one here. We join the subject 2 and inner join exam mark. In exam mark DB exam term, now I'm joining the exam term table, and here's the connection on the term ID in exam term table should equal to the term ID in student exam mark record table. Here we connected or joined all the four tables together. Now we can write our conditions. Here is the first one where keyword, and then I'm filtering this data using the term. So in exam term table, term name is equal to first term. Okay, let's execute this one. Here in the exam term table, you can see only the records related to first term test are showing in the result. And here's the next condition. I'm filtering these data using the subject. So subject table dot subject name. This time we can't use equal because there are two names. So in this case I'm using in, and here are the two values we have to check: mathematics and science. So mathematics, and here's the comma, and here's the second one, science. Okay, let's execute this one too. Here only the mathematics and science marks are showing here. And here's the third condition, and this is the last one. We have to filter the data using the name of the student. So student table first name. There are two conditions because there are two attributes, first name and last names. Here's the first one, Amanda. This one. And again student dot last name, gender last name should equal to Moses. Okay, let's execute this one too. Here you can see these are the two records of mathematics and science of Amanda Moses in first term test, and now we can find the highest mark. So max keyword, and here's the attribute we are searching in student exam mark record table mark attribute. Now let's execute this one. But before that, I like to change the attribute name. So as, and here's the new attribute, highest mark. Highest mark, and it's better we show the subject name before the mark. So I'm putting that attribute, I'm defining that attribute before the max value. So subject table dot subject name. Okay, let's execute this one here. Mathematics, and the highest mark is the highest record is 90. Okay, that's the answer for that part. Here's the complete query we used to get this answer, and we completed the fourth part of the question. Let's move on to the fifth one, and this is the last part of this question. Madara Vanasekara find the highest mark in mathematics and science and Sinhala language and literature in the second term examination. You can see they gave us all the subjects, so we don't have to filter this subject mathematics, science, and Sinhala literature, because those are the three subjects. We have to filter the data using the student name and the exam term, then find the highest mark. That's the first thing which will come to someone's mind. But you can see for now there are only three subjects, but if there are more than three subjects, this result out from our query will inaccurate. So it's better we mention these three tables too with other conditions, because that will increase the accuracy of our answer. So let's go to our query tab and write our next query again. Here again I'm going to join all the tables. Select asterisk from exam mark DB and student exam mark record. Here are all the details in student exam mark record, and let's join other tables to this one. I'm joining the student table because we have to filter the data using this the attribute recorded in this table. So exam mark DB student, and here's the connection. The student index number should equal to the student index number recorded in student exam mark record table. Here we connect two tables, and here's the third one, inner join in exam mark DB. I'm joining the subject table. So subject on the subject ID should in subject table should equal to the subject ID in student exam mark record table. Here four tables now, and inner join I'm joining the exam term table in the exam mark DB. So in exam mark DB, exam term table on exam term dot term ID should equal to the exam term recorded in the student exam mark record table. Okay. Here you can see we connect both we connect all four tables together. Now we can write our conditions. First one is where in the question you can see we have to find, for this one, 28, we have to find the highest mark in mathematics and mathematics, science and Sinhala language in second term test of this student. Okay, first I am filtering the data using the term. So where exam term dot term name should equal to second term. Second term. Let's execute this one here. Second term. And here is the third one. I am filtering the data using the subject name. So subject table, subject name should equal to, you can see not equal, we have to filter the subject name. So in, we use the keyword in when there are more than one value. So here's the first one, science, and second one, mathematics, and is the third one, Sinhala language and literature. Let's copy that one here. Okay, now let's execute this query. You can see only the science, mathematics and Sinhala language will show in the records. You can't see any difference because there are only these three subjects recorded in this subject table for now. Okay, and here's the third one. I am filtering the data using the student's name. So here's the AND keyword, and student dot first name should equal to Madara. Go to student table and copy that name, Madara. And here's the last condition. In student table, last name attribute value should equal to Manasekara. Okay. Now here are all the conditions, and these are the three records which will output as the result of this query. Okay, here you can see mathematics, science and Sinhala language in second term test of this student Madara Vanasekara. Now we can find the highest value from these three records. So max keyword, and here's the attribute we are searching in student exam mark record table, mark attribute. Yes, I'm changing the attribute name of the output to highest mark. Okay, here we completed all the query, and this is the last value. 85 is the answer. Okay, now here is the complete query we used to get this answer, and we completed the fifth part of this question. And I think that's it for this video. Let's see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching.